यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे jaya Gaura-nitai. Jaya jaya Prabhupada, 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 jaya jaya Prabhupada. जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading from Canto 10. The gopis sing of Krishna. Text number 22 and 23. vatsalo vraja-gavāṁ yad aga-dhro vandyamāna-caraṇaḥ pathi vṛddhaiḥ kṛtsna-go-dhanam upohya dinānte gīta-veṇur anugeḍita-kīrtiḥ utsavaṁ śrama-rucāpi dṛśīnām unnayan khura-rajaś-churita-srak ditsayaiti suhṛd-āsiṣa devakī-jaṭhara-bhūr uḍu-rājaḥ. Please chant. vatsalo. Ladies. vatsalo rajagavāṁ yadgଧ word by word meaning. Vatsalah, affectionate. Vraja-gavāṁ, with the cows of Braj. Yat, because. Aga, of the mountain. Dhriha, the lifter. Vandyamāna, being worshipped. Charanaha, his feet. Pathi, along the path. Vṛddhaiḥ, by the exalted demigods. Kṛtsna, entire. Go-dhanam, the herd of cows. Upohya, collecting. Dina, of the day. Ante, at the end. Gīta-veṇur, playing his flute. Anuga, by his companions. Edita, praised. Kīrtiḥ, his glories. Utsavaṁ, a festival. Śrama, of fatigue. Rucha, by his coloring. Api, even. dṛśīnām, for the eyes. Unnayan, raising. Khura, from the hooves of the cows. Raja, with the dust. Churita, powdered. Srak, his garland. Ditsaya, with the desire. Eti, his coming. Suhṛd, to his friends. Āsiṣa, their desires. Esha, this. Devakī, of Mother Yashoda. Jఠrभ, from the womb. Bhu, born. uḍu-rājaḥ, moon. Translation and purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Out of great affection for the cows of Braj, Krishna became the lifter of Govardhan hill. At the end of the day, having rounded up all his own cows, he plays a song on his flute, while exalted demigods standing along the path worship his lotus feet, and the cowherd boys accompanying him chant his glories. His garland is powdered by the dust raised by the cow's hooves, and his beauty enhanced by his fatigue, creates an ecstatic festival for everyone's eyes. Eager to fulfill his friend's desire, Krishna is the moon arisen from the womb of Mother Yashoda. Please repeat. Out of the great affection for the cows of Vraja, Krishna became the lifter of Govardhan hill. At the end of the day, having rounded up all his own cows, he plays a song on his flute, while exalted demigods standing along the path worship his lotus feet, and the cowherd boys accompanying him chant his glories. His garland is powdered by the dust raised by the cow's hooves, and his beauty, enhanced by his fatigue, creates an ecstatic festival for everyone's eyes. Eager to fulfill his friend's desire, Krishna is the moon arisen from the womb of Mother Yashoda. Purport. According to the Acharyas, at this point the gopis climbed into the watchtowers of Vrindavan houses so they could see Krishna as soon as possible when he returned home. Mother Yashoda was very anxious for her son to come back, and therefore she had the tallest of the beautiful young gopi climb up to see when he would arrive. It is implied here that Krishna was somewhat delayed on the way home because his lotus feet were being worshipped by great demigods along the path. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa-sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everybody. So this chapter is titled The Gopis' Feeling of Separation, Krishna book. And here in Bhagavatam is given the Gopis sing of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that the Gopis of Vrindavan were so exalted that they were not just satisfied being with Krishna in the rasa dance, but they wanted to be with Krishna even during the daytime. But during the daytime, Krishna goes to graze his cows, but the heart of the Gopis, which were always with meditating on Krishna. So Prabhupada explains that this is how they were with Krishna all the time, because they were thinking of Krishna, even though he was not physically present before them, but they were always thinking about the Lord. So to acquire this strong feeling of separation is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and the 6 Goswamis. This is how Srila Prabhupada start this chapter in Krishna book. That is mood of separation, like we see even many of followers of Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, when we hear from them, that their mood of separation from Srila Prabhupada, it is very ecstatic. We keep hearing from them and they relish, even though Srila Prabhupada is physically not here, but through his books, through his instructions. So this mood of separation or devotion in the mood of separation is the highest, as explained by 6 Goswamis, as explained by Lord Chaitanya. So even Srinivas Acharya's prayer about 6 Goswamis, he says that they left all the material opulences, all the wealth they had, all the comforts they had, and they just moved to Vrindavan and they lived here just like ordinary mendicants, begging from door to door. And they were teaching this devotion to the Lord, how to practice this. So we are very fortunate that we are connected to such a wonderful parampara, where our acharyas have taught us this devotion in the mood of... Even Srila Prabhupada says that I am here in New York as a duty because my spiritual master wanted me to do this, but my heart is in Vrindavan always. So this meditation on Vrindavan, meditation on the Lord all the time is what is required from us all. This is our perfection of devotion. So those who are, Prabhupada writes, those who are in the disciplic succession of Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should always feel separation from Krishna. Worship his transcendental form and discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastimes, his qualities, his entourage and his association. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. So this is what is expected from everybody who joins this movement of Lord Chaitanya. So feeling constant separation while engaged in the service is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. So this is very important point, that not that we are like sahajiyas living in the mood of separation, but our principle is while engaged in service of the Lord. So we have to be always engaged in the service of the Lord, and together with that we have to be practicing this mood of separation. Not that we will leave everything and just keep thinking that I am feeling the mood of separation. That is not allowed. So Prabhupada writes very clearly that feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. So many times we don't get all the conducive environment we want, all the conducive facilities we want to practice our devotion. But if we still meditate on the facilities, and continue doing our services, still it is good for us because we are still engaged in the service. So the more important principle is to be engaged in Krishna's service, not that we are feeling the mood of separation. That is the bottom of this mood, that they are always engaged in the service. Not that just whimsically thinking the mood. It will not come. It will become like a sahajiya. It will not come. So Srila Prabhupada wanted that all his devotees, all his followers should be engaged in some services, practical services. If we don't do that, then we cannot relish, or rather we cannot achieve the core purpose which we are here, to be Krishna conscious. This is why this is what we are trying to be, that we want to be Krishna conscious all the time. But if you don't do that, engagement in the services, it is very, very difficult. But today we see in general, people are engaged in doing hard work, doing a lot of material endeavors, trying to accumulate more and more things, and they don't know what is the aim. They don't know what is the aim. They think that this will solve their anxiety. They will be, once they have some good facility, they have good education, good house, good living arrangements, good bank balance, then they will be able to be a better Krishna conscious person. But it is not the reality. If you see the beginning of our movement, the devotees who joined 50 years back, ISKCON practically had no facilities. As we hear, they were like not enough to eat. I heard from, if they come from Sankirtan, if they get, they get. If they don't get, they just sleep. So it was quite struggling and challenging. But because they were engaged in service, they were engaged in following the instruction of the spiritual master, they had an aim. At least theoretically they were clear. We don't know if practically we are clear or not, but at least theoretically we are clear that following the instructions of spiritual master and always remaining engaged in services to please Krishna will make us Krishna conscious. Then if we keep doing it, then we might have a realization going forward. But at least our aim and goal is clear, that our goal or purpose is to please Krishna. But for the materialistic, they don't have a clarity of goal even, what they are doing. And as more they put endeavor, as more they try, the situation is becoming more and more miserable. It's not that they are improving their situations. And so we are all here. Somewhere we have realized this, and so most of us thought that it is not a good idea to be over-endeavoring to accumulate wealth, over-endeavoring to make some big business arrangements. And so we thought it is better to live a simple life and help to achieve the mission of Guru and Gauranga. This is what we think. So we all came here. So we need to be focused on this purpose, why we came to Krishna consciousness. Because when I joined 2011 as a full-time devotee, I was coming from a company having 50 branches, traveling all over India, a lot of not service, but a lot of work. So I was very kind of, go-getter or an achiever kind of mindset always. And then my president told me that don't forget the purpose why you came to ISKCON. Our first goal is to become Krishna conscious ourselves. And then we can think about more. But first, any endeavor should not lead us to a situation where we ourselves lose our consciousness, where every endeavor has to just to please the Lord. We cannot be trying that much. Otherwise, it will be a struggle to continue. But Krishna is kind because we want to achieve more, and that more is also for pleasing the Lord. Then He gives us better facilities, as they teach a management principle, circle of concern and circle of influence. So today, say for example, I am assigned by our temple president that I should clean matchless gift shop every day. So that is my circle of influence. Now I can use all my skill to clean the shop. But if I do it nicely, and if the devotees there are pleased with that service, then my circle of influence grows. So when I'm cleaning the shop, if I'm thinking, oh, I need to work on more areas, there are more areas to be where I can assist in cleaning, then Krishna will expand that circle of influence and include circle of concern in that, because my concern is to help more services regarding cleaning. Then Krishna will empower through some devotee. He will engage you in, okay, now you clean the altar. So this is how it increases. But the important point in all this is to have that clarity of purpose, that the clarity of purpose is to please Krishna and his devotees. But when the purpose clarity is lost in the process, then we start struggling. So this is what the struggle all about in this material world, because they don't have any clarity. So they think we will accumulate money, and so in the old age I will be peaceful. But in the old age they have a lot of money, but now there is other anxieties. There are physical challenges, there is nobody practically to spend time with them. So many things come. So whatever we keep trying to accumulate the material situation better, but only end result is more struggle, more challenges, more problems. So Sankaracharya, they says that balas tavat kriya shaktam. So like a child, he put lot of endeavor in sporting activities so that he thinks that I will enjoy. He exhausts all his energy, he is perspiring doing that. Then yuvak tavat yuvati rakta. So a youth tries all his energy to attract the girl or the woman so that he can have a better life, he can have a life partner. Then going forward, vṛddhas tavat chinta magna. So, but when he becomes old, then he is always into chinta. A lot of anxieties are there. He might think, oh, as a child I did good, as a youth I did good, but as the old age comes, then there is a lot of anxiety coming to, even though he has accumulated all these things. But parame brahmane ko apina lagna. But nobody is interested in Krishna consciousness. So the real purpose of this human life is to elevate our consciousness where we can always think of Krishna. So this is what gopis are doing now. They are in the mood of separation. Every gopi is talking what Krishna would be doing. You know, somebody is talking, Krishna would be playing with the boys. Somebody is thinking, explaining that how he is herding the cows with the flute, then how there are 108 groups of the cows. Different things they are talking. But the purpose is to meditate on the Lord. So similarly, we should, as devotees, should help each other in this principle of tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So whatever we are doing, but generally we over endeavor to discuss the challenges. But rather, whenever there are challenges, we put the hand in the bead bag and start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Not that we strive even more, but it will be more struggling. So, why Krishna sends challenges is so that we become more surrendered. Not that Arjuna was not a devotee, not that Arjuna was not understanding Bhagavad Gita, but Arjuna was just used by Krishna for all of us to transmit this message that we understand this core principle of surrenderance. Sarva dharman parityaja. So this is what Krishna wants from us, that we surrender to his arrangement, we surrender to his desires, we surrender to the situations he manifests before us. Not that we do other things in a different way. That will be even more miserable because we don't know what is there. As we always understand from one example that somebody is flying in the airplane and we have a traffic jam in Vrindavan. We know this, how much traffic is there now. So you can't see what is even 50 meters, 100 meters ahead. But somebody up there can know after which spot you should take right, and then there is no traffic. So we have to depend on these higher instructions to advance in our Krishna consciousness. Ekaki amar nahi pahebal. Individually, we have no strength. We might think that we have a lot of intelligence to do and perform because we all were, I'm sure, successful in our material careers and whatnot. But in spiritual life, it is more about depending. When you depend more, you are more protected. When you try to be independent, you are in a bigger mess. So it is very important that we try to practice this principle and help each other to practice. That is most important. We cannot make fun of devotees struggling. Rather, we should always extend ourselves in what way we can assist the devotees. So we call them Prabhu. That you are my master. I am ready to extend myself to you. How can I help you? How can I serve you? Not that, oh, now this devotee is not getting prasad and we are on the side enjoying that. No, we should try to help how we will arrange prasad for him. That will please the Lord. Not we just eating prasad ourselves and not caring about others. That is not Krishna consciousness. That is near sense gratification. If we just think about our comforts, our facilities, and not caring about, like everybody who comes on this campus, they are guests of Krishna Balram. So it is our responsibility that they get good darshan, they get good prasad, they get good kirtan, they get a loving exchange. As Prabhuji was explaining, whenever we should make them feel welcome, not that we don't want them. Oh, so many people are coming now, we have no peace, we have no place to sit, where will I chant my rounds? But this is an educational institution. ISKCON is an educational institution. We are here to propagate the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, to propagate the teachings of Shat Goswami, to follow what Srila Prabhupada wanted all of us to do. Not that we make a commercial enterprise out of it and lose the core purpose of this movement. So, but there are endeavors, lot of challenges even to achieve the core principle sometimes. Despite we all know this, we struggle. That does not mean that we are not interested in it, but sometimes Krishna has a different plan. This is only we can understand, and peacefully we can think how to move ahead. This is what is expected from us, being devotees, staying as a community. So we know why we are working hard, as I said already. We are working hard to please Srila Prabhupada, we are working hard to please Krishna, and that is our only hope. That if I can please the previous acharyas, if I can please Srila Prabhupada, if I can please Krishna, that is the only hope we have. We have no other hope. Other odd is they call durashaya, all hopes which are wrong. Everything else is a wrong hope. The only one right hope we can have is to please the authorities, please the parampara, please the acharyas, please Krishna. If we create any other hope, then our life will be more miserable. You might think that I am doing this for 30 years, 40 years, no problem. But we never know, like Shishupal, he was 1 offense, 2 offense, 3 offense, and 100th offense, finish. Just a momentary execution and he is gone. So it is very important that we are always very careful about our actions and we always remain alert that our mood to serve is to please and not to achieve anything else. And simultaneously serving, we are always thinking that whether this action will be pleasing Krishna, whether this action will be pleasing devotees. That is the only hope we have. As we just read, that is the only hope we have. If we have any other hope behind doing any service, then it is durashaya. It is a hope in the wrong direction. That will not make us Krishna conscious. That is a risk we are running. If we have any other agenda, that is a risk we are running, that we are losing on time, we are losing on our energy. So, when this is from conversation of Ramanand Rai, even to Ramanand Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, what is the actual aim of life for which one should work? So, he explains the example of varnashram, dharma, starts and this whole thing. But first thing is to follow the prescribed duties. Even in Hitopanishad, we see that this Udara Indriya Akhyan is there, where they explain that if all the senses goes on strike, and they thought that why should we work to accumulate food, why should we work to cook the food and then offer it and everything goes to the belly, stomach. We don't want to do it. And Udara said, okay, if you want to go on strike, no problem. Still, he is not disturbed about that. And after a while, the senses were becoming weak, they cannot function properly. And then again they had a meeting, and then they decided, okay, now we have to work. And then they started working. But again, it goes to the stomach. We know this. So similarly, whatever endeavors we may make, independent of Krishna, we will be becoming more and more weak. N number of endeavors we can do, which is independent of pleasing the parampara or the acharyas or Krishna, we will be only becoming more and more weaker, miserable. So we have to understand from this that the way the senses cannot be working, we are also part and parcel of the Lord. So if we do anything independent of His pleasure, independent of His plan, we will be only miserable. We can have 100 meetings, but if the conclusion is not that our work will be, our services will be to please the Lord, what are we going to achieve? What are we going to achieve? Nothing. Situation will be still the same. So here one of the gopis says that when Krishna was bringing these cows, Mother Earth was feeling lot of relief. One of the gopis described like this. So this has a very deep relevance to us, that despite these gopas, gopis, they all wanted Krishna to be with them all the time, but still Krishna was engaging himself in this practical service of herding the cows. And that was to serve Mother Earth. This is what one of the gopis is talking also, that Mother Earth was feeling lot of relief. Because this is how what we see today in the society, the cows are disconnected from the land and Mother Earth is in a miserable situation. And so we see in the Bhagavatam also, the Mother Earth goes in the form of cow to pray for protection. So this is the core purpose, one of the core purpose of ISKCON, where Srila Prabhupada wanted us to establish a simple life process where we have our land, our cows, and we develop our land with the cows. That is one of the most important purpose which is missing in a big way. Srila Prabhupada was so much encouraging that when he was personally present here. But somehow after that, we took the movement ahead a lot, but a lot of work is still to be happening in this aspect where we help Mother Earth. When we call her Mother Earth, it is something, some person, it is not something impersonal. So Krishna consciousness, everything is personal. If we deal with things impersonally using tractors on the soil, it is impersonal. That means we are just mechanically calling Mother Earth. We don't realize the meaning, what it means. So Srimad Bhagavatam strongly pushes this point that to have a good lifestyle, the way Krishna was himself practicing and explaining to us, is to move the cows on the land. And in the Shastra it is mentioned that if the cows are moving on the land, the agriculture comes forth. So if you don't move the cows, then what we are seeing is just mining. It is exploiting Mother Earth. If we don't have cows connected to the land, we are exploiting Mother Earth. And as we are hearing here, our life, which is independent of Lord arrangement, our life will be more miserable. We will only starve. Prabhupada says in one of the class that if we don't accept Krishna's arrangement, if I can find that, if we don't accept Krishna's arrangement, then only thing that is left for us is starvation. This is what we are seeing today. We thought that green revolution, brown revolution, pink revolution, so many revolutions are there in the world, but ultimately the world is starving. The world is starving for good health. So Krishna says, Prabhupada says in this class that annat dhavanti bhutani parjanyanna sambhavat. So the health comes from the grain growing from rain. But now we are way ahead from that understanding, and our grain, whatever we eat today, is all coming from artificial irrigation. All we eat today is all coming from abuse of Mother Earth. So every person who is a follower of Sanatana Dharma is supposed to be protecting the seven mothers. This is the basic education that should be given to the society. If we abuse the seven mothers, we cannot expect Krishna consciousness world. It is impossible. So, starting with Mother Earth and Mother Cows, it is very important what Krishna was doing. It's not that he had nothing to do, so he was going with the cows. There is a lot of relevance, and now the science is also concluding that if you don't move the cows on the land, we will not have more crops after 65 years. This is from United Nations. If you don't move cows on the land, there will be no grains growing after 65 years. So this is enough to understand what Srila Prabhupada meant, that our devotees should be living on the land. Not that we engage in ugra karma, all the activities, and we just turn our face. We keep using wrong things, and we say, oh, I am chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I am good. That is certainly very good, but then we have to change our life. We cannot keep mimicking a materialistic lifestyle just wearing these Vaishnava clothes. We have to be living a Krishna conscious lifestyle. We are chanting, but we are living a materialistic lifestyle. We want all the arrangements the way people live in the cities. We don't want to change. But this is Vrindavan. We hear from devotees who came 50 years back, this was a forest. I mean, just going even near Prabhupada gate, there was all jungle everywhere. Now for us, we think it's just a story. Because we just came 10, 20 years back, we don't even know what it was then. So even it is difficult to conceive what it was then. But just by following this process, the way Krishna is himself explaining, in one of the purport Prabhupada writes, Krishna came purposefully just to explain us how to take care of cows. In 8th canto Prabhupada writes in the purport. The whole purpose was, so here he is writing also, regarding Govardhan Hill, I heard from one devotee yesterday, that you don't try to lift everything. If you will do nice service to the Lord, Krishna will lift Govardhan for you. So because these cows are doing nice service for Krishna, here Prabhupada writes, so Krishna lifts Govardhan to take care of his cows. The purpose of lifting Govardhan is to take care of the cows. So when we engage in the process which Krishna has given us, the lifestyle which Krishna has given us, then Krishna is ready to take care of us. What is that slok? 9.20. Yogakshemam vahamiham. But that will not happen if we keep doing ugra karma. That will not happen if we keep mimicking a materialistic lifestyle. We have to be living a simple life. We cannot just keep telling that we need all these facilities. Otherwise, it's not possible to preach. This is what we are already reaching to that conclusion. That if we have to preach, this is required, this is required, this is, but just imagine when the society started, what we had. And it was basically capturing the whole world. That was the blast Prabhupada gave when he was present here. And now, despite of expanding like anything, still that blast is not felt. Because the core principles are missing. So, from this, the most important point I understand is we have to follow this process of serving the cows where they are living on the land, helping Mother Earth to be protected, fertilizing, and then growing nice fruits, vegetables, flowers for the deities, for devotees. And this is where all the energy should go. Otherwise, we will think we have to do a lot of artificial arrangement to maintain the temples. But it is not correct understanding. We might spend crores and crores and crores of rupees, but what will happen? Still we need food to eat. What we are preaching, we need to practice now. We have to practice what we are preaching. This is what Krishna is clearly talking in the whole of 10th canto. Grazing the cows. That's the whole message here. Gopas, gopis, gwalas, golok, everything is just connected to cows. Nothing is independent of cows. Krishna doesn't like anything independent of cows. So we as a community should be thinking more on this. I don't know, I might be too passionate when I spoke today, but sorry for that. But so, yeah. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Some comments? Questions? Comments? Behind this. Prabhu? There. Please keep your hand up so they can pass the mic.
Thank you so much for the great advice. This sounds very practical in terms of saving the world and saving our society, but a person like me who is habituated to the modern facilities, where do I start to help this cause? A person like me who is absolutely immersed in ugra karma and
Srila Prabhupada has a very nice facility for you. We have just started a 40-acre farm, 120-acre farm, and we are inviting devotees to live there. Just pack and come there. We have a house for you, we will feed you and you serve there. That's it.
Where is that?
It's right, 20 kilometers from, 15 kilometers from here. We can show you today if you want. But that decision you have to take. Nobody else can take a decision for you. So if you want to become Krishna consciousness, it is your decision. Facility is given. It's not that there is no scarcity of resources in Krishna's arrangement. Our mindset is making us understand that there is scarcity. Everything is abundant. But we are living a miserable life with a miserable mindset given by this society today. But if we accept these principles given in the Shastra, Guru and Sadhu, what we learn from them, then there is no scarcity, there is no challenge actually. I mean, there are devotees in Vrindavan who are living here for so many years, no problem. They are happy practicing Krishna consciousness. The purpose has to be clear. If your purpose is multi-directional, then you cannot take a decision. But if the purpose is to become Krishna consciousness, then the answer is clear. The farm is ready, the house is ready, move with your family and start serving. As simple as that. Panchagoda Prabhu, yes.
This is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, and seeing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada wanted the devotees to live in the city and preach to people and free them from their illusion by bringing them closer to Krishna consciousness. Although ideally rural life with the cows, peaceful is a good thing, but it seemed like many senior people who were out in the field many years preaching, they sometimes take shelter of their own space and peacefulness. So how do we know that should I be in the city on the battlefield? We're supposed to be on the battlefield till the time we leave and go back home, back to Godhead, or is there a time we should plan to retire and go be with the cows and nature?
Yes. Okay. So I will try to answer. So as we understand, at least speaking about India, 70% of India resides in rural India. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his movement to reach in every town and village. So today ISKCON is an urbanized movement only. We are just focusing on cities because most of us are from cities. Not that we want to we know only to preach in cities, but we have no experience of village, what it means to preach in villages. But so indirectly we are expanding to distribute that mercy to 70% of the world, in India at least. And even if I talk about America, America is now 80% cities, only 20% villages, because everything is getting converted from rural to urban. But specifically about India, we have enormous opportunity to preach in villages. People have time to listen to you. They have time to chant. They have time to serve. They have time to assist you. They don't work 24 hours a day. The way now we are busy in cities doing ugra activities and achieving nothing. They are lot. So even if we want to do this lifestyle where we preach and we get this peaceful life of village, still villages is a very good option. In Braj itself we have 1250 villages. So if we establish our one project in each of the 12 forests and spread out our preaching in all the villages of Braj, that will be a big preaching in Braj. But because we are generally, kind of a mindset, I would say, that distribution means we go to cities, but it is very, very welcoming when you, like this Padayatra, when they go to villages, they get best welcome anywhere else they get. So we don't choose where we are doing preaching in cities or village or town, but jare dekho tare kaho Krishna updesh. So whatever time we have for preaching, we should just engage in preaching whomever we meet. We don't do segregation. So I think there is enough scope even living on the farm to preach. Now I'm in trouble? Oh, Janardhan Maharaj, yes.
We are all in trouble.
You're all in trouble.
Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says that also 50% of his work is not completed because of this Varnashram program. Srila Prabhupada also mentions that. So both has to go side by side.
Yeah.
Because in the future, we cannot fully depend on the modern civilization. It will collapse. We've heard even in the news just recently, US dollars will be changed by other currency. It'll be rupees! No, seriously, 18 countries are thinking of rupees to be the exchange, monetary exchange, because Modi is doing a very good job in cashless society. So ultimately, we're going to depend on the cows and the land. So we have to do this simultaneously. It's like an outpost. You know, the city preachers are there because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says they will not come to see us if we live in the village. So we have to go to the city. So ultimately, all of this, as you said, all of the preaching avenues that needs to be done, it has to be done. We cannot just do one thing and not the other. So simultaneously, but ultimately, we're all going to be back to basics. No more sugar, no more ghee, no more gasoline, only Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
and Mahaprasad.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj, for a nice comment.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question related to the first part of your class, where you spoke about separation. So I would like to understand from you that while a devotee is actively pursuing devotional service while they're in their Krishna consciousness life, does this mood of separation, is it bestowed upon the devotee by Krishna's causeless mercy, or is that something one should, while doing the devotional service, actively, if that's the right word, cultivate in their mind? Because Anugeḍita Prabhu gave a class the other day where he said that you should cry for Krishna. If you cannot cry, then you should cry that you cannot cry. And he went quite a few steps backwards. So if you could comment on that.
Mm-hmm. So, like here in this class, Prabhupada says, theoretically or practically, we have accepted that if we can please Krishna, then our future is hopeful. So, certainly we learn these concepts hearing from senior Vaishnavas and the Shastra. And so we know this concept and we try to practice them, but not that we start feeling that we are like that. Like, we cannot tell that now I am humble, I have acquired this quality that I am humble. So the moment we start thinking that I am humble, that means we are not. So it's kind of a requirement, I understand, is from us is to keep practicing the principles given, and then the qualities will develop on its own, and we won't even realize that. Like the senses, when they were trying to create a strike that we will not feed the stomach, but when they feed the stomach, indirectly all the senses remains active and can continue their service. So similarly, our active principle is to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, and all we do is to please Krishna. So if we keep doing that, the qualities will manifest. And even if they manifest, doesn't manifest, is not important so far we are connected to the principle. Somebody else would like to? Yes, Maharaj would like to comment also.
Hare Krishna. The story of Raja-kumar and Bhagavatam, because his eternal ras, relationship with Lord Krishna, is in Sakya ras. So we were brought to different stages where he traveled all over the universe and even to up to Vaikuntha until he met Lord Krishna. At that time, he did not ask, oh, I wish I could be a gopi. He's already satisfied. So until we reach that part where we actually understood what is our relationship with Lord Krishna, we will not ask for anything else. That's it. It's already established. You cannot cry for more. You're already satisfied. Unlike Radharani, she's very different. Her position is always increasing and increasing and increasing, like Lord Krishna.
Yes, here. Okay. Oh, Prabhu has a comment. Yes.
Hey, Krishna. Very often you were talking about helping one another. Like when Prabhupada, of course, he said, cooperate, how we need to cooperate with one another. And I was thinking sometimes how it seems very difficult for us. Sometimes we have our false ego gets in the way of cooperation.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And I was thinking how Srila, what it means to be a devotee, how far I am from actually being a devotee. I saw Prabhupada with Mr. Nair. You know Mr. Nair, a person in Mumbai who tried to steal the Jew property back from Srila Prabhupada. I saw him 3-4 times in the room with Prabhupada. He was an enemy. Prabhupada said, you know, everyone going back home except Mr. Nair. He was so, he was a demon. And yet, whenever Prabhupada was with him, he treated him gentlemanly, didn't raise his voice, he didn't fight, he was able to speak with him. Somehow, you know, and I see how far away we are from dealing with people on every level in a Krishna conscious manner. And it's really something to move forward if we don't do that. As it said, the only thing that can destroy the movement is from within. And that's what it means. We destroy one another. You know the story Prabhupada told about the father, his 2 sons. Of course, they were always competing. And then the father asked for a massage from the son. So he was lying down on his stomach and they're massaging his back. So the son on the right side poking him on the left side to give pain to the father. So that the father would think it's the other son. And the other son, of course, he's poking him on the right side, causing him difficulty. So he told us that story because that's us. This is what we have to conquer over, to actually cooperate and give proper massage for the benefit of the Father, for the benefit of our spiritual master.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.